Admiral Zixthara stood upon the bridge of the Imperial Dreadnought, Eternal Dominion, her 6 eyes locked onto the main view screen. The bridge itself was a marvel of Imperial design, walls of gleaming black alloy, consoles bathed in a serene, blue glow. Officers from a dozen species operated in harmony, each dressed in immaculate uniforms. Everything about the Imperial Third Fleet radiated discipline and power. Zixthara's forearms moved fluidly as she reviewed the morning data. 12 colossal warships made up her fleet, each capable of obliterating a planet. They patrolled the Outer Rim, upholding Imperial law and eliminating any intruders who dared trespass. It was meant to be another uneventful shift until Lieutenant Commander Vorth, an insectoid with large compound eyes, turned from his station in confusion. "Admiral, we've detected an unknown craft at coordinates 77 marks," he reported, his voice clicking unnaturally. "Vessel's origin is unlisted." Admiral Zixthara's tail flicked with interest. Few ships dared cross into this region uninvited. "On screen," she ordered. The display changed and her eyes widened. The ship looked like it was cobbled together in a scrapyard, rusted plating, mismatched hull segments, exposed piping. Its design defied all Imperial standards, as if logic had been abandoned entirely. Strange angles jutted out without reason. Fuel tanks were externally bolted on with crude braces. "What in the stars is that?" she muttered. She'd seen countless vessels in her decades of service, but nothing like this. "Sensor readings are inconsistent," Vorth added, his mandibles twitching. "Length is 200 meters, but mass keeps fluctuating from light shuttle to cruiser-class weight." "Sensor failure?" Zixthara asked. "Negative, Admiral. Triple-checked. Equipment's fine." The Admiral narrowed her eyes. Despite the ship's odd appearance, something about it felt off. Her instincts, honed by 40 years of command, flared with warning. "Weapon status?" she inquired. Dock Commander Rises, their reptilian weapons officer, turned from his screen. "Several hardpoints detected, but nothing matches our archives. Energy signatures are ... unusual. Defined unusual. Readings suggest a mix of primitive and advanced tech. It shouldn't be possible." A shiver ran down Zixthara's back. That phrase "shouldn't be possible" never ended well. "Open comes. Let's contact them." The communications officer, a tall humanoid with blue-tinted skin, tapped her console. "Channel open. Unknown vessel. This is Admiral Zix of the Imperial Third Fleet. You are in restricted space. Identify yourself and prepare to be boarded." Static answered, then a voice broke through, strange in tone and dialect, almost cheerful. "Howdy there. Fancy ship's mind if I squeeze by?" The voice struck the bridge like a shockwave. No one addressed the Imperial fleet like that. Zixthara had crushed rebellions, ended wars, and her name invoked fear across star systems. And now someone had just greeted her like a friendly neighbor. "Did they just say howdy?" a junior officer whispered. The Admiral collected herself. "Unknown vessel. Respond using proper protocol. State name, species, and purpose immediately." Another pause, then the same voice, still upbeat. "Oh, sorry. Name's Sarah Chen. I'm human. Just passing through. Know any good truck stops? Running low on coffee." Silence. Zixthara turned to her crew. They looked as baffled as she felt. "Truck stops?" she asked. "Coffee." Science Officer Quinton Teckled and Com spoke up. "No records of human in our database. Linguistics don't match known families. As for truck stop, no known translation." The Admiral clenched her jaw. She had dealt with smugglers and criminals before, but never with someone so unaware. "Human ship, you are violating Imperial law. Surrender or face consequences." The voice remained oddly pleasant. "Consequences? What kind? A fine? Or are y'all more the shoot-first Ascleter type?" Zixthara's fists clenched. "We are the Imperial Third Fleet. We have the power to eliminate any threat. You have 30 seconds to comply. Destroy. That's kinda extreme for trespassing, don't you think?" "You all okay? You sound real tense." Commander Thesis turned stunned. "Sir, are they worried about our mental state?" "Apparently," Zixthara replied through gritted teeth. "Either this human was clueless or had nerves of 15 seconds, she announced. All right, said the human. "Didn't mean to upset anyone. I'll just scoot over that way." There was a pause. No need for drama. "I've got a delivery to make, and my client gets fussy if I'm late." Zixthara activated the tactical overlay. The strange ship hovered alone, surrounded by 12 Imperial dreadnoughts each with firepower to level continents. This human should be terrified, not discussing deliveries and cranky customers. 5 seconds. Jano said, that human voice shifting from cheerful to mildly annoyed. "I've tried being nice, but y'all are pushing it. I'm tired, behind schedule, and seriously caffeine deprived. Maybe rethink your approach." "Time's up," the Admiral barked. "Fire warning shots aimed just ahead of that ship. All ships ready," the tactical officer confirmed. "Fire." 12 lances of concentrated energy burst forth, blazing across the void. They converged in a dazzling flash, brighter than the nearest sun. When the light faded, the human vessel remained untouched, and then came the words that froze Entire bridge, nice fireworks, you compensating for something. Silence. Admiral Zixthara stared at the view screen, struggling to process what had just occurred. Enough combined energy to flatten the city, and the human had dismissed it as a light show, possibly even making a joke. Admiral Lieutenant Commander Vorth spoke hesitantly. Our warning shots were either absorbed or deflected. Sensors report no interaction with standard defensive systems. That's not possible, said Commander. Nothing can neutralize that level of firepower without some kind of shield, and that ship shows 0 energy fields. Science Officer Quinn confirmed grimly. Instruments detect no shielding of any kind, only open space around the vessel. For the first time in decades, Admiral Zixthara felt genuine uncertainty. The ship defied physics and engineering. It looked like floating scrap, yet somehow shrugged off the wrath of 12 dreadnoughts. Human vessel, she said cautiously. How did you survive that strike? Strike? That human sounded genuinely puzzled. Wait, was that supposed to be an attack? I figured y'all were just putting on a light show. Anyway, appreciate the enthusiasm, but I've got stops to make. Cargo doesn't deliver itself. What cargo? The Admiral asked, despite herself. Oh, the usual coffee, some spare circuit boards, and a few of my mom's cookies for the Kepler 442b colony. Nothing classified. Zixthara glanced at her crew. Every officer wore the same expression, complete disbelief. In all her career, she'd never seen anything like this. A ship that shouldn't exist. A pilot, either delusional or absurdly brave. Admiral, Science Officer Quinn said quietly, I recommend requesting reinforcements. Zixthara nodded. A strange feeling told her 12 dreadnoughts might not be enough. She paced slowly across the Eternal Dominion's bridge, arms behind her back. 20 minutes passed. The human ship hadn't moved, still floating casually, as if nothing had happened. That nonchalant dismissal of overwhelming firepower gnawed at her. Admiral, reinforcements have arrived, the comms officer reported. The view screen shifted to show them 36 more warships dropping out of hyperspace, steel giants gleaming in the starlight. Each fleet arrived with its own flagship and full support units. Now, 48 warships surrounded the lone human vessel, enough firepower to fracture a planet. This makes our position clear, Zixthara muttered. Admiral Core of the Second Fleet appeared on screen. His scaled face and burning eyes studied her. Zixt, what's so dangerous that you called in 3 fleets? That ship, she replied. Check your instruments. There was a pause. Core blinked slowly. The data doesn't make sense. It looks like cobbled junk, but the energy readings are wrong. I thought the same, she replied. We fired full power warning shots earlier. All 12 dreadnoughts. The energy vanished. Vanished. That's absurd. Tell that to the pilot. They called it a light show, then asked if we were compensating. Core's eyes widened. A human said that to the Imperial Navy, verbatim. Admiral Vexera of the 5th Fleet joined the call. Her skin, which changed color with emotion, glowed deep violet caution. My science team has been analyzing the vessel. The results are troubling. Explain, Zixthara ordered. Our scans register it as multiple objects. Sometimes it reads as a cargo hauler. Sometimes something the size of a battle station. Its mass shifts every few seconds. Instrument failure. No. Every diagnostic confirms the sensors are functioning properly. The ship is unstable in nature. Zixthara stared at the image of the human ship. It still resembled a heap of welded debris, but now 3 fleets were reporting impossible data. She opened a channel. Human vessel, you are now surrounded by 48 Imperial warships. This is your final warning. Surrender immediately. The reply came fast and still annoyingly casual. Whoa, that's a lot of firepower for lil ol me. I'm flattered really, but are you sure this isn't overkill? I'm starting to feel a bit ganged up on. The admirals, I twitched. Did that being just say they feel picked on? They did, she confirmed, jaw tightening. Human pilot, you face the unified strength of the Imperial Navy. You cannot survive. Survive? The human sounded sincerely intrigued. What do you think will happen if you shoot me? Is that the plan? If necessary, yes. Simultaneously, there was a pause. When the human spoke again, the tone had shifted slightly. Concern maybe. Look, I don't want trouble. I can just take the long way around your space. Sound good? Zixthara briefly allowed herself hope. Maybe this was finally sinking in. You will surrender your vessel for inspection first. Standard Imperial procedure. The human's voice reverted to its casual rhythm. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I've got deliveries to make, and I'm already behind. Also, my ship's kind of a disaster zone right now. I wasn't expecting guests. This is not a request, it's an order, and I'm politely declining, thanks though. Admiral Core's scales darkened visibly. No one declines an Imperial command. I just did, the human replied. Look, you seem nice enough, but seriously, have to go. These folks want their coffee. Vexara's skin flushed crimson, pure aggression. Zixthara, this being Mark's Imperial authority. We must act. Zixthara nodded grimly. She had tried diplomacy. The protocol was now clear. All ships prepare coordinated strike, direct fire, target the vessel. Tactical boards lit up as all 48 warships locked weapons on the human craft. Massive energy signatures surged. This amount of force could obliterate a small moon. "Human vessel," Zixtera said. "You have 10 seconds to surrender." "You're actually going to shoot me?" the human asked. "Like for real? Not just the fancy beams again?" 5 seconds. Okay. You're very committed to the whole intimidation thing. But before you do something reckless, maybe I should mention something." "What?" Zixtera demanded. "My ship's not exactly what it seems, meaning. Well, humans have been tinkering with physics lately. Learned a few interesting tricks." "Time's up," Zixtera said flatly. Fire. Space erupted in a blinding storm of destruction. 48 ships fired as one beams of energy, guided missiles, gravitic bursts. The resulting sphere of devastation glowed brighter than a sun, turning asteroids to plasma, bending the very fabric of space-time. 30 seconds of continuous bombardment, enough to end civilizations, then civilizations. Then, silence. Sensors began clearing. "Scanning for debris," Vorth reported. The main screen flickered back online, revealing the targeted region. Zixtera braced for confirmation of obliteration, but instead, the human vessel remained right where it had always been. The vessel showed no damage at all, not a single scorch mark, no visible effect from the full-scale attack. It looked exactly as it had before. "That's impossible," Admiral Korath whispered. "Sensor confirmation," reported Lieutenant Commander Vorth, his voice trembling. "The human vessel remains intact, no trace of damage." "That much firepower should have destroyed anything," said Admiral Vexara, her skin now a pale white, Imperial visual code for deep fear. Comes crackled again, and the human pilot's voice returned, still relaxed and oddly upbeat. "All finished with the fireworks, gotta say. That was pretty great lighting work." Admiral Zixtera stared at the screen, struggling to comprehend. 3 fleets had just fired enough to erase a continent, and the human was complimenting the aesthetics. "How?" she asked, not expecting a real answer. "How? Oh, that," the human replied. "Well, like I said, we've been experimenting a bit with physics. Learned a few tricks." "What kind of tricks?" "The kind that let us do stuff like this. Honestly, don't stress, most humans don't even understand it. We just know it works." Science Officer Quinn looked up, tentacles twitching. "Admiral, the energy from our attack didn't vanish. It was absorbed, then redirected." "Redirected where?" "Unknown. The energy signature ceased after absorption. It's as if it was moved somewhere else." For the first time in her career, Admiral Zixtera felt something close to fear. The human ship had absorbed the firepower of 48 warships and made it vanish. That level of technology was beyond anything the Empire had ever recorded. "Human pilot," she said slowly. "What are you?" "Just a delivery pilot trying to stay on schedule," the voice replied. "Been doing long-haul runs about 15 years now. And your ship, the Cosmic Drifter?" "Just a little project I put together in my garage. Not flashy, but she runs fine." Admiral Korath cut in, disbelief clear. "No one built something like that in a garage." "Guess you haven't met many humans," the pilot said, amused. "We're great at making stuff work even when it's not supposed to." "Your technology defies logic," Vexora said. "Logic's useful, but creativity's better," the human replied cheerfully. "We've got a saying, if it's stupid but it works, it's not stupid." Zixtera turned to her crew. They were as rattled as she was. What they'd just witnessed shattered every known law of science and combat. Admiral Science Officer Quinn said quietly, "We should report this to High Command immediately." "Withdraw." Admiral Korath looked shocked. "From one ship?" "That's not just a ship," Zixtera replied gravely. "It's something else." Their discussion was interrupted by the human pilot. "Hey, while y'all are chatting, mind if I get moving? I've got a tight schedule." Zixtera hesitated. She could order another attack, but the outcome would likely be identical. Negotiation had gone nowhere. Only one option remained, one that went against every instinct she had developed in 4 decades of command. "Human vessel," she said. "At last you may proceed." "Seriously, just like that?" "Just like that." "Well, thanks. Appreciate the professional courtesy. Y'all take care now." The human ship began to accelerate smoothly, silently. Zixtera frowned. "Engines?" she asked. "Where's the output?" There was none. The ship was moving, but sensors showed no visible propulsion. No heat, no drive signature. Admiral Zixtera stared as the ship glided away. No vessel in the known galaxy moved like that. Not even the most elite Imperial cruisers traveled without engine flare. "Admiral," said Vorth, incoming transmission, Imperial Command. "Put it on screen." The display flickered to reveal Grand Admiral Vexman, the highest-ranking officer in the entire Empire. His towering insectoid form dominated the screen, rainbow-hued eyes flashing with agitation. "Admiral Zixtera," he snapped. "Why did you let an unauthorized ship leave Imperial space without inspection?" Zixtera straightened. "Sir, the situation was beyond standard protocol." The human vessel demonstrated unexpected. "Did you say human?" Vexman interrupted. "That species is unregistered." "Yes, sir. We had no records prior to this encounter." "And you let it go?" "Sir." 3 fleets opened fire simultaneously. The combined assault had zero effect. The vessel absorbed the energy and continued without damage. The Grand Admiral's eyes shifted rapidly, an insectoid sign of stress. 3 fleets, and you're telling me one ship just ignored them? Not only ignored, sir, Zixthera said. The pilot referred to our strike as fireworks. Silence. Then Vexman spoke with a tone she had never heard from him before in certainty. I'm sending Admiral Corfrex with the First Fleet. Do not engage that ship again. Observe only. Keep your distance. Understood, yes, Grand Admiral. The transmission ended. Zixthara turned her gaze back toward deep space. The human ship's lights were still visible, receding toward the edge of Imperial territory. Admiral called Science Officer Quinn. The vessel has stopped. Stopped. Why? Unknown. It's been stationary for 30 seconds. Open a channel. Channel open. Human vessel. This is Admiral Zixthara. Why have you halted? Oh, hey, sorry about that, came the cheerful reply. Thought I'd stretch the old legs a bit. My ship gets fussy if I don't let her breathe every now and then. Stretch your legs, you're in space. Not me, the ship. The human laughed. She likes to loosen up before long trips. Before Zixthera could question further, the cosmic drifter began to change. Panels unfolded, hidden compartments extended like petals opening. Sections of hull she had assumed were storage bloomed outward, moving with impossible grace. What in the Empire's name is that? Admiral Koret's voice cracked across. The comma. Don't know, Zixthera whispered, unable to look away. The ship continued shifting, revealing internal structures that shouldn't fit within its frame. Compartments emerged from nowhere, panels rearranged, geometry twisted. What had once been a modest freighter was now evolving into something utterly unrecognizable. Admiral Vorth called. Mass readings are spiking. It's shifting from cargo ship to battle station size and back again. That's not possible. Mass can't just appear and vanish. Scanners don't lie. It's changing in real time. Zixthera pulled up the tactical display and immediately regretted it. The ship now resembled a labyrinth of impossible geometry. Weapon arrays emerged from places that hadn't existed moments ago. Engine bays unfolded where solid hull had once been. The vessel's very form now hinted at more dimensions than conventional space could hold. Human pilot, she asked, struggling to stay calm. What is happening to your ship? Oh, the voice replied casually. The cosmic drifter's just stretching out. She's been cramped for hours, needed to unwind. Don't worry, she's harmless. Your ship. It's breaking the laws of physics. Laws. The human laughed again. Those are more like guidelines, when you think about it. We figured that out a while back. Reality's pretty bendy if you know where to push. Quinn looked up from his console, every tentacle trembling with a mix of awe and terror. Admiral energy readings from the human vessel have increased by a factor of 10,000. No wait, now it's 50,000, and still climbing. That's impossible, Zixthera whispered. It should be, Quinn said. The ship's output now exceeds that of a small star. But thermal sensors show no heat spike. The energy's going somewhere we just can't see where. Admiral Vexara cut in, her skin pale white, the color of pure fear. My weapons. Officer just confirmed the human ship now possesses more firepower than our combined fleets. Confirmed, Admiral Koreth added grimly. Weapon signatures are present that don't match any known class. Some seem to manipulate space-time directly. Zixthara felt a cold chill crawl down her spine. Weapons capable of altering space-time were theoretical dreams the best Imperial minds had failed to create even prototypes. Yet the human ship now floated calmly, seemingly armed with dozens. Human pilot, she asked cautiously, your vessel appears to be heavily armed. Armed? Oh, you mean the defensive systems? The pilot replied. Yeah, the cosmic drifter has a few surprises. Can't be too careful in unknown regions. Pirates, spatial anomalies, cranky warlords, you know how it is. Those are defensive weapons. Mostly, best defense is a good offense. Or so my Uncle Jake always said. He used to haul stuff through a megasector before that little dust up. Zixthera asked, you mean a war? Yeah, just a disagreement with some folks who thought they ran the galaxy. We sorted it out. Zixthera traded uneasy glances with her bridge crew. When was this war? 15, maybe 20 years ago. Hard to say. Time's fuzzy when you're doing interstellar routes and you're one. Win is one way to say it. Mostly we just convinced them not to mess with us. Things quieted down after that. You're saying humanity fought a galactic war and ended it? Admiral Koreth asked, stunned. Well, fought is strong. More like we showed up, made a few points, and everyone decided fighting humans was a bad idea. What kind of points are, the usual: better gear, clever engineering, turning impossible problems into working solutions. Humans do that a lot. Zixthara looked again at the human ship. Its transformation had ended, revealing a shape that was both awe-inspiring and disturbing. Curves bent in directions they shouldn't. Parts shimmered as if partially in another dimension. Weapon ports glinted with impossible energy. Human pilot, she said slowly, what exactly can your ship do? The cosmic drifter. She's an old girl, reliable, Carries about 10,000 tons, tops out around 50,000 times light speed. Makes great coffee, 50. Vexera gasped. That's impossible. Our fastest ships barely reach 300 times light speed. Different approach, the human replied. We focus on does it work first, and should it later. Quinn looked up again. Admiral, space around the ship is distorting. Gravity patterns are shifting, distorting. Explain. The vessel seems to exist in two places, here and somewhere else. Our instruments detect gravitational effects that make no sense for an object its size. Zixthera stared at the ship, now impossibly still in the void. Human pilot, how did your people create this technology? Create is a bit formal. We mostly tinker until something works. Try it, tweak it, try again. Eventually we figure things out. But the physics is flexible, the pilot replied. If you approach it right, the universe tends to cooperate. Just don't overthink it. That makes no sense. Sure it does. Universe is weird anyway, why not steer the weirdness to work for you? Zixthera's worldview shook. A lifetime of certainty, undone in minutes. The laws of reality. Now suggestions, Admiral Vorth called out. Incoming transmission from Imperial Command, put it through. The screen blinked, revealing Grand Admiral Vexman joined by the full Imperial High Council. Concern lined every face. Admiral Zix's long-range sensors are detecting major spatial distortion in your region. Explain. She took a steady breath. The human ship has transformed. It appears capable of manipulating space-time directly. That's impossible, one counselor said flatly. So we believed, sir, until now. Another elder leaned forward, skin like old stone. Admiral, what exactly are we facing? Zixthera didn't hesitate. A species with technology so advanced, we can't begin to understand how it works, and this is apparently just a cargo ship, delivering coffee and cookies. The chamber went silent until the human's voice returned, still maddeningly. Chipper, hey there, fancy ships. I'm all stretched out now, so I'll be on my way. Thanks for your patience. Y'all have a great day. The impossible ship began to accelerate, its light trailing behind like a comet. As it passed the outer edge of Imperial space, a new fleet arrived. Admiral Kurex of the First Fleet commanding the Imperial Wrath, the largest vessel ever built, entered formation. Behind him, 60 warships followed, including the Galaxy's, and a new super dreadnought equipped with system-crushing weapons. Zixthera exhaled with relief. If anyone could handle this, it was Kurex. Admiral Zixt came the thunderous voice of Kurex, massive, armored, and feared across the galaxy. I've reviewed your reports. The High Council is uneasy. Understandable, sir. This vessel defies everything we know. My science teams reviewed your data on the approach. None of it should be possible. On screen, the cosmic drifter had returned to its original junk freighter form, small, unimpressive, absurd. But Zixthera knew what it truly was. Sir, I advise extreme caution. The pilot is friendly, but their capabilities are beyond us. Friendly or not, Kurex replied. They violated Imperial space. They cannot stand. Zixthera's gut tightened, sir. 3 fleets already fired. The attacks had 0 effect. Then we bring 4. Plus the galaxy's end. If normal firepower won't work, we escalate. Before she could respond, the pilot's voice echoed again. Well, howdy, new ships. You're throwing a space parade. I feel underdressed. Kurex's expression darkened. Human vessel. I am Admiral Kurex of the Imperial First Fleet. You are under arrest for trespassing and resisting inspection. Arrested. For cookies and coffee. That feels like overkill. Surrender immediately or face destruction. Destruction. Again with the dramatics. You folks love that word. So, what's the plan this time? Kurex gestured to his crew. You are surrounded by 4 fleets in the galaxy's end. Surrender or be obliterated. The pilot paused. His tone stayed friendly but now carried an edge that made Zixthera uneasy. Destroy a star system over one little freighter. That's bold. You sure you want to do that? This is your final warning. Okay, the pilot replied. But before you do something really dumb, maybe I should mention a few things, such as, well, I've been doing this job for 15 years. Never lost a shipment, ever. You know why? Tell me. Because the cosmic drifter and I don't respond well to threats. We solve problems permanently. You're threatening the Imperial Navy, not a threat. Just advice. You've been polite so far, but now you're getting reckless. That's unwise. Zixthera's unease sharpened. Something was about to happen. Human vessel, Kurex growled. You have 30 seconds to surrender. 30 seconds, that's not much. Okay, how about I show you why poking humans is a bad idea? Show us what? Oh, just a little demo. Nothing flashy. Kurex watched his display over 100 Imperial warships aimed directly at the cosmic drifter. Enough firepower to erase a civilization. 20 seconds. Okay, said the human. Computer, let's show these nice folks why we don't like bullies. The ship began to glow, not from engines or weapons but from the hull itself. A soft blue light, intensifying with each moment. Admiral Quinn shouted, we can't measure the output. The energy exceeds fleet-wide. Totals it's more than most stars. All ships fire, Correx roared. The void exploded in light. 108 warships unleashed a torrent of energy rivaling multiple suns for 2 full minutes. The galaxy's greatest armada bombarded the human ship. Space buckled, reality cracked. And through it all, the cosmic drifter glowed peacefully. Impossible, Correx whispered. Confirmed, said Vorth, barely audible. No damage detected. Then the human voice returned. Thanks, my turn. Now Zixthera felt her blood run cold. The blue glow fled to blinding intensity. Every ship's screens dimmed to avoid sensor burn, and when the light faded, the cosmic drifter had changed, not unfolded. Its shape no longer made sense. It existed in directions the eye couldn't follow, simultaneously large and small, near and far. What is that thing? Correx demanded. That's her, the pilot replied, voice still light. When she's mildly annoyed. The ship moved not by accelerating but by appearing next to the Imperial Wrath. The Imperial Wrath, the largest warship in the Empire, was 1,000 kilometers away one moment, and nose to nose with the cosmic drifter the next. How did you, Admiral? Correx began, but before he could finish, something like a playful nudge gently tapped his flagship. The 30-million-ton dreadnought tumbled like a toy. It flipped end over end, its inertial dampeners overwhelmed. Every crew member was knocked unconscious by G-forces that should have liquefied them. Oops, the human said casually. The drifter gets a little sassy when she's stretching her legs. The impossible ship zipped next to another dreadnought and nudged it, then another and another. Within minutes, a dozen of the Empire's most powerful warships were spinning helplessly through space. Their crews blacked out. Stop this, Admiral Vexara screamed, her skin now ghost white from sheer terror. Stop what? The human replied cheerfully. This is me warming up. Want to see what happens when humans get creative? The cosmic drifter split. One ship became 3, 3 became 9, 9 became 27. In seconds the Imperial fleet was surrounded by hundreds of identical vessels, each radiating the same impossible power. Which one is real? Admiral Kor gasped. They all are. The human's voice echoed from every direction. Reality gets pretty bendy when you know how to talk. To it, Zixthera's brain reeled. The human ships were flying through each other, occupying the same space, moving in patterns that geometry itself would have found offensive. Human pilot, she said faintly. What are you? Just a delivery girl, came the casual reply. Pretty good at the job though. One of the ships stopped in front of the Galaxy's End, the Empire's newest dreadnought, and examined it. Nice ship, the human said. Little dramatic, but I respect the craftsmanship. The impossible vessel extended something not quite a beam, not quite an arm, and tapped the Galaxy's End. Every light on the dreadnought blinked out. Engines died, gravity systems cut off, the ship powered down. What did you do? Correx shouted, still spinning in space. Double quotes. Oh, I just asked it to take a nap, the human said sweetly. Your crew's fine, just resting. Zixthera realized, with sinking certainty, that this wasn't war, this was playtime. The human didn't want to destroy them. They wanted to prove how easily they could. Human pilot, Zixthera said carefully. What would it take for you to stop this demonstration? Stop, but I've barely started. Want to see how we made the inside bigger than the outside? Nose, etc. blurted. No, we've seen enough, really. I was about to show you how we taught our engine to argue with gravity. We surrender, Zixthera said quietly. To me, the human asked, amused. That seems dramatic. We surrender, she repeated, louder this time. Immediately, the hundreds of human ships merged back into one. The cosmic drifter reformed into its original, unassuming shape like a battered cargo ship built from mismatched spare parts. The unconscious crews across the Imperial fleet stirred awake, systems rebooted. The Galaxy's End flickered back to life. Well, that was fun, the human said cheerfully. Thanks for the entertainment. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got coffee to deliver before it goes cold. And just like that, the cosmic drifter vanished in a burst of shimmering, rainbow-colored light. Left behind in its wake was a message, floating in space for 30 seconds, written in 17 different languages. Thanks for the chat. Admiral Zixthera sat frozen in a chair staring at the void. The ship was gone, but its presence lingered like a ripple in the very laws of reality. Admiral, Lieutenant Commander Vorth said gently, we've got incoming priority messages. From Imperial Command, the High Council, and about 47 different intelligence agencies. Put command through, she said. Grand Admiral Vexman appeared on screen. His compound eyes flickered wildly, a visual sign of extreme anxiety. Behind him chaos reigned, counselors, generals, scientists, all speaking at once. Admiral Zixthera, he barked. What just happened? She inhaled deeply. Sir, the human ship demonstrated abilities that violate every known law of physics. They disabled our entire fleet without harm, including the Galaxy's End. Disabled how? They nudged our ships, then asked the Galaxy's End to take a nap. Vexman's eyes froze, an expression of pure shock in his species. They asked a dreadnought to nap. Yes, sir, and it did. Admiral, are you suffering from combat stress? No, sir, I have 200 witnesses, full sensor recordings. Counselor Ithgara pushed forward, tentacles twitching with anxiety. What did this human tell you about their people? They claimed to be a cargo hauler. Said humans tinker with physics until things work. They were delivering coffee and cookies. Coffee, Ithgara repeated. Yes, ma'am. To a colony on Kepler 442b. Chief Science Advisor Kelta, known for strict logic, stepped into view. Did they mention their origin, their civilization? They said they fought a galactic war 15 years ago and convinced the enemy not to bother humans anymore. Also, they mentioned building the ship in a garage. Garage, Kelta frowned. Translation, a small structure used to store and fix vehicles. They built that. In a garage, that's what they claimed. They also said it wasn't fancy. Humans just make things work. Grand Admiral Vexman turned to his aides. Begin full-scale intelligence operations. I want everything population, homeworld, capabilities. Sir Zixthera said, I recommend we classify human space as forbidden. No contact. Ever. That's extreme. Sir, if that was a civilian cargo ship, I don't want to imagine what their military vessels can do. Intelligence Director Vashko, a shadow rarely seen, stepped forward. Our scouts have begun analyzing human space. Initial results are unsettling. Explained. We found their home system, Earth, the third planet. 8 billion inhabitants? 8 billion, yes, sir, and that's not the alarming part. At any moment, over 50,000 vessels move through human-controlled space. 50,000? Zixthera asked, horrified. Cargo ships, passenger, craft, civilian vessels. Based on energy signatures, each one is more powerful than most of our battle crew. Kelta looked stunned. Their civilians fly ships stronger than our war fleet, significantly stronger, and there are no human military vessels. What, none? No fleets, no defense platforms, nothing designed for warfare. That's impossible. Unless, Vashko said slowly, they no longer need military ships. Zixthera shivered. What do they talk about in transmissions? Deliveries, family, sports, complaints about coffee. Nothing violent, no war plans. They seem peaceful. Grand Admiral Vexman's eyes resumed flickering. So we face a civilization of 8 billion with unknowable technology, tens of thousands of starships, and they use it all to deliver coffee. Yes, sir, Admiral Zixt. There's more. The pilot hinted we don't want to meet their military. She implied they exist, and that if we think the drifter was impressive, we wouldn't survive seeing the rest. Kelta's voice was barely a whisper. If that's true, their actual warships might rewrite stars. Silence fell. Vashko cleared his throat. One more thing, sir. The humans have been monitoring us. Spying, not exactly. Just keeping an eye on things. Apparently they've known about us for years. Didn't feel the need to introduce themselves. Why? They seem to consider us mostly harmless, but a bit aggressive. Zixthara felt humiliation and relief twist in her chest. The Empire's might mostly harmless. Vexman straightened. Recommendations total avoidance, Zixthara said instantly. Issue orders. All ships encountering humans are to apologize immediately and leave. Agreed, said Vashko. Also prepare formal diplomatic protocols. What kind? The kind where we never annoy them again. Kelta nodded. And we must revisit our understanding of physics. If humans can break the rules. Perhaps the rules aren't fixed. If we can't understand it, Vashko said, we'd better hope they stay friendly. Vexman made it official. Effective immediately. Human space is forbidden. No vessel enters without permission. If humans are encountered, we assist, show respect, and never provoke them. And if they offer us coffee, Counselor asked. Quietly. Vexman didn't hesitate. Accept it. Gratefully, the survival of the Empire may depend on it. 3 hours later, Admiral Zixthera sat alone in her quarters, writing her report. She paused, thinking of the cheerful pilot with impossible power. Captain Sarah Chen, cargo hauler, coffee enthusiast, and likely the most powerful being in the known galaxy. A soft chime rang. Incoming message. Zixthera opened the command, nearly spilled her drink. Hey there, Admiral. Sarah Chen here. Just letting you know, delivery made it on time. Coffee stayed hot, cookies were a hit with the colonists. How are you contacting me? Oh, the drifters got great comm systems. I just wanted to say thanks for being reasonable. A lot of folks would have kept firing. You didn't. I appreciate that. You're welcome. Oh, Earth's diplomatic corps heard about our little meet. They're interested in opening official relations, trade, culture, that kind of thing. You folks seem nice once you stop trying to vaporize stuff. We'd be honored. Great. I'll pass it along. Oh, and Admiral, yes. Thanks for not making me get creative. Last time that happened, I accidentally turned a moon into cheese. It was not well received. The line went dead. Zixthera stared at the wall. Somewhere out in the stars, a cheerful pilot hummed a tune while delivering impossible cargo in a ship that broke the laws of reality for fun. She reached for the emergency bottle of Alaran brandy and poured herself the biggest drink of her life. She had a feeling. The galaxy had just gotten much weirder.